Coronavirus lockdowns and COVID conspiracies are being blamed for a rise in anti-Semitism in Europe. But that's not all that's fueling violence against Jewish communities. CNN's Melissa Bell reports from Vienna.
Eli Rosen knows all about where hate can lead. His grandparents survived the Holocaust. They always warned him to keep his head down because there might be more to come. Last August, they were proved right. Rosen was targeted along with his synagogue in the Austrian city of Graz. Its walls, made from the bricks of the synagogue destroyed in 1938, defaced.
After this attack, those warnings of my grandparents had kind of flashback, and this made me very, very sorry and brought tears into my heart and my face.
A few days later, just outside the synagogue, Rosen was chased by a man wielding a baseball bat, but managed to get back into his car just in time.
Certainly I was scared. Being physically attacked is a dimension that's different than being verbal attacked, which I'm used to because anti-Semitism has risen within the last year.
In 2020, anti-Semitic incidents in Austria reached their highest level since the country began keeping records 19 years ago. And in Germany, incidents rose as much as 30%, according to a German watchdog. Much of the rise in both countries is being blamed on harsh COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. Protesters demonstrating against the restrictions held signs depicting forced vaccination by Jews, and 2 people in Berlin were shouted at by a man who they believed blamed Jews for the pandemic.
I think that anti-Semitic conspiracy myths have been there for centuries, and in fact, whenever there is a pandemic, they have come to the fore again.
Across Europe, anti-Semitic attacks have been rising for years. From a deadly standoff in 2015 at a kosher supermarket in Paris, to Vienna, where 4 people were killed in a rampage outside the Stadttempel synagogue last year. And then there is the desecration of Jewish graves, like these in eastern France. In Brussels, Rabbi Albert Guigui now wears a baseball cap when he goes out to hide his very identity. Of course I wear a yarmulke at home, he says, but outside I prefer to cover my head less conspicuously. It's not healthy, he explains, to live in an atmosphere of fear and where you feel hunted. I think that as well as being vigilant, we must tackle the evil at the root of the problem, and that is about being different. The Holocaust killed an estimated 6 million Jews in Europe, but as living memory gives way to fading footage, so denial grows and hate speech returns. As well as the tension around COVID lockdowns, the violence between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East in May also drove hate towards Jews across Europe. Like here in Berlin, or in Brussels, where the chants spoke of ancient battles between Jews and Muslims.
We do see a cyclical increase in expressions of anti-Semitism and also anti-Semitic violence linked to events in the Middle East. But if we look more broadly at the phenomenon of anti-Semitism in Europe, we see that it's much older and also much wider, and it's really a European issue.
The hate is also spreading online, according to Human Rights Watch. Horrific cartoons like this one, depicting Jews with a big hook nose. Or this one in France of a conspiracy theory blaming Jews for the pandemic and shared, he says mistakenly, by a candidate in recent regional elections. The European Commission has a deal with tech companies to remove offensive content within 24 hours, but only once it's been alerted. This is the memorial in the very heart of Vienna to the 65,000 Austrian Jews who were deported during World War II. Most did not survive. It's a reminder of where words and conspiracy theories can lead, but it's also a reminder of Europe's own very violent, homegrown history of anti-Semitism, an anti-Semitism that has never quite disappeared. Prayers continue to be heard all over Europe. From the center of Paris to the old Stadttempel synagogue in Vienna. Eli Rosen says that his grandparents' approach of keeping a low profile after the Holocaust was understandable, but ultimately misguided. European Jews keeping their heads down, he says, has not prevented anti-Semitism from rearing its head once again.
Contrary to my grandparents, I will tell my son, or I would tell young Jewish people to be proud of being Jewish.
Melissa Bell, CNN, Vienna.
Oren Siegel is the vice president of the Center on Extremism of the Anti-Defamation League and joins me now from New York. These are disturbing stories, disturbing images. We've been seeing this anecdotally, but now recent research bears out what your organization, I'm sure, has been alarmed about for several years now. I mean, look at what we've shown here on CNN. A rabbi has to wear a baseball cap for fear of being targeted in 2021. I mean, how and why do you believe now are Jewish peoples being scapegoated for so many things, including ridiculously COVID?
There are many triggers for anti-Semitism. There have always been many triggers. And what we're seeing now is sort of this perfect storm. You have a conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, and those who oppose, some people are blaming all Jews for the policies and activities of the state of Israel. And when you ascribe blame to all Jews for the state, that's anti-Semitism. We're seeing protests against vaccinations and comparisons to Holocaust era, right? Trivializing the memory of that Holocaust. And we're also seeing mass casualty attacks in some cases, violent incidents over the past several years against the Jewish community. And so anti-Semitism is one of those hatreds that animates people across the ideological spectrum, and you never know when it's going to come up, but you do know it will.
And unfortunately, it has. What role does social media, the internet, play in this? It is the bullhorn that dangerously, we know, right, amplifies not just anti-Semitism, but extremism of all kinds.
The internet, social media platforms, that's where people create their worldview. That's where people create the campaigns that they want to engage in, the communities that they find to support them. And when we see that these communities are being exploited by extremists and anti-Semites, that it's as easy to find phrases like Hitler was right as it is to find, the local grocery online, that normalizes anti-Semitism. That makes it part of people's everyday. And that's why we see it spilling out into the streets. We tracked 17,000 tweets right after the conflict started in the Middle East saying Hitler was right. On 4chan, which is a cesspool of extremism, a 300+% increase in anti-Semitism. And so this is impacting all social media platforms, including where our kids are learning about these issues for the first time.
Oren Siegel, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.